Welcome to Culture Talk. I'm joined today with our biochemist and geek du jour, Fazal Rana. Faz, we're going to be talking about some really cool science that's happening. We're going to be talking about transhumanism. But first, can you explain to our viewers what that means?
Well, transhumanism was really a fringe idea that probably emerged after World War II. And the idea was that technology could alleviate human pain and suffering by altering humans' physical makeup to transcend our biological limits. And so the idea is that transhumanists want to take evolution into their own hands and evolve human beings into these post-human species that would be free from our biological constraints, that would improve upon our biological design, and in doing so achieve a utopia and perhaps even immortality and eternal life.
Interesting stuff. So then what are some specific things, aside from like eternal life, what are some specific things that this technology is working toward currently?
Well, what's giving transhumanism a lot of interest and moving it into the mainstream is that there are advances happening in biomedicine and biotechnology and bioengineering. For example, prosthetic devices that can be controlled with the patient's thoughts for amputees, or the CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing revolution that are going to be able to treat some very horrible diseases and injuries that we currently don't have treatments for. But these technologies are stepping stone technologies for human enhancements. And so because of that, this is now a reality that's really within our grasp, and it's giving some real impetus to the transhumanism movement.
So what are some of the ethical concerns around transhumanism?
Well, there's a ton of ethical concerns. One of the most severe is really robbing people of worth and dignity and even destroying human identity. And the concern would be that we would create a caste system in a dystopian future where there are going to be the technology haves and have-nots. And there are questions arising as to who is going to get to have this technology and who isn't, and what would that really do to humanity. So there's a lot of concerns. That's perhaps the most pressing concern.
And then from a Christian perspective, how can we begin to look at this and look at the pros and cons of this new technology?
Well, I think the pros are that this technology really will help people from a medical standpoint. So we don't want to stand in the way of those kind of advances. But we need
advances like easing pain.
Easing pain and suffering. I mean, imagine if you were an amputee to have the prospect of having a functional limb that you would have a sense of ownership, you know, that could control things. What a transformation in your life that would be. So we want to promote the use of the technology in a way that promotes human flourishing, but we want to, as Christians, engage in the ethical conversations to ensure that the technology is used in a way that avoids exploiting human beings or robbing human beings of dignity, value, and identity.
Good stuff. So then, do you have anything else that you want to add on this topic of transhumanism?
To me, I think transhumanism represents a golden opportunity to present the gospel. Because what's motivating the transhumanism movement is a desire for transcendence. They want to transcend our biological limits. They want to attain immortality and eternal life. They want a utopian future for humanity. And this is what the gospel is offering. With transhumanism, the hope and the trust is in technology. With the gospel, the hope and the trust is in the person of Christ, who is not going to let us down, whereas technology is a double-edged sword. Even though it might alleviate human suffering, it can also introduce unintended consequences that create new forms of pain and suffering. So this is a great opportunity to connect to that deeper need that people are expressing with transhumanism and use it to present the gospel.
Yeah. Well, good stuff, Fuzz. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks again for just watching. And if you want to get more from Faz Rana, visit reasons.org and search The Cells Design. You'll find his blog, a ton of articles there, all on different topics, including transhumanism. So thanks again for joining us.